Leo, welcome to your October 2016 Love Tarot reading. And I just finished Sagittarius's love reading as well as their general reading, and I did this back to back because I got a comment in the past from a viewer who said that I should just stick to doing general readings and forego love readings. I'm talking about on YouTube. And I responded, well, you know, I have a lot of private readings. Most of my private readings are love readings. So I feel that just in terms of kind of seeing what people are into and what they seem to be all about, and, you know, noticing on YouTube that love readings get a lot of hits, okay? That kind of goes, that's a 1-2 punch. They get a lot of hits, and they also are what a lot of people are ordering for personal readings. And this is important because it's giving people what they want. And yet I can understand how that person felt, because it does seem like it would be more organic. Like if let's say I pick a bunch of Pentacles cards in 1 month, maybe, you know, you're not really into the love in October. Maybe it's going to be more of a business thing. And so by trying to make it into a love thing, maybe that's contrived. But I don't feel that way, because I feel like there's always relationship issues, or at least people that are going through something. So for now, I'm going to, you know, separate them, but I am going to maybe experiment with doing that and seeing how that works. But I'm doing these back to back. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading your general reading today, because it does take some time, and I'm not going to necessarily be able to do that. But I can at least, you know, that you'll know to expect your general reading after this. And it's just an experiment. I might not do that with all the signs, but just to see if there are any themes that kind of play themselves out. And I've been shuffling, but I think I'm going to do what I did with Sagittarius. Just lay out the cards like this for the love reading. Okay, all right. The overall energy is represented by the Three of Swords. So this is the card of heartbreak, the card of feeling that you have been scorned. Somebody has rejected you. This can sometimes be a love triangle too. When you see a 3, and sometimes when you see 2s, I said when you see a 3 and then I see another 3. Okay. Looking at the particular suit, we see swords. It could involve an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, maybe along with an earth sign. Maybe that person is involved as well. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So, something has happened or is going to be coloring the month of October that relates to heartbreak. Obviously, this is a general reading, so hopefully people that are in happy marriages are not watching this video, because then you're just anticipating bad things. These videos are intended for people that are having problems or who are single and may be looking for somebody as well. In the recent past, we got this Page of Pentacles. So this could have been a message that came, or maybe you found out. Now, we did have Mercury retrograde in September. This tends to bring people from the past. But I think it can also mean that you know, something comes back to you. A message comes back. So to me, anything related to messages that's kind of a rebound, a boomerang effect, can be in play, because it could be an indirect sort of communication. So perhaps you found something out about somebody that you were interested in or in love with, and you found out that they had deceived you in some way, misrepresented themselves. The page is connected with messages. Now, it could be that you found out that somebody had a child, because pages relate to children. It could be, it's always possible that somebody else got a message and then they went back to that person. I think I read somewhere that Facebook is, really responsible for a lot of problems, in marriages and relationships, because of all these people finding each other. My feeling, though, is that when people are committed, they're not looking, they're not seeking. So you can't blame an external thing like Facebook. I'm not saying you can never blame Facebook for anything, but you have to look at the actions of the person doing it and not blame something that's inanimate, an inanimate object, on, the failure of somebody to remain with you. In the near future, and this could be just like in the current state too, is the High Priestess. So it could be that something was hidden, and maybe that's what you find out, and it's really for the better, for your highest good that you find out, because otherwise you'll be kept in the dark. But it might be too that some of you will decide that you're going to devote yourself more to something spiritual, and maybe you've been kind of fooling around, and I mean having affairs rather than having a real relationship, and you realize that it's not happening. It's not getting you any closer to love. As a matter of fact, it's creating more of a distance. And actually, the Three of Swords, in terms of a love triangle, maybe you're a willing participant. Maybe you're the one that is stepping out on your relationship. I don't think that this is true very often, though, I will say. I think that Leos are known for loyalty, and I think that that's true not only when things are going well, but when they're not going so well. Part of this is just kind of a virtue that you have, an innate virtue, but I also think it's being a fixed sign. I think that you just don't like change. So when you stick to something, you stick to it. If you've ever had a relationship with a Gemini person and you're watching television, they may be the person that is flipping through the dials, and you might stick through the show, and it might be a crappy show, but you've chosen it, so you're going to stick with it. You're being loyal to the television show. And a sign like Gemini or even Virgo, there are certain signs that are just kind of like, let's see if there's something better out there. And that can lead to not really having a sense of constancy in one's life. And this is where I think is one of your strong points, is that you have a sense of constancy. And you have this kind of a consistency about you that works well for you in many instances. It's just that, when you're in a really bad situation, you can get into a rut, and then you're in this bad situation, but you also refuse to change. The higher message is a great one. The Sun card, this is your ruler, the Sun, and this is a very positive card. It's the Yes card. You see that love is depicted because the Sun rules the 5th house of romance. So as a higher message, even if you've been seeing a lot of negativity, maybe especially if you felt like you were rejected, have faith that there is somebody out there for you that will come in. And I'm thinking in terms of, let me think here. It's funny because, you know, the opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius. And so maybe it will take a little bit of time before that happens. Maybe it will be when the sun is in Aquarius that you will see, and the new moon is in Aquarius. Maybe that will be when you will see love come in for you. But I think, you know, let's look at the 5th house. I think that's more appropriate, and that's Sagittarius, okay? So we have these transits, actually, to tell you the truth, already in Sagittarius. We have Mars is roaring through Sagittarius. You know, Mars is a very aggressive energy, and Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's very compatible to you. It's 5th house. So you do have these planets in the 5th house. You know, and then you have Saturn in the 5th house for a long-term transit until the end of next year, 2017. I mean, that's a long time for Saturn to be in your natural house. And as a result, it can make you a little bit sober. It can make you a little bit less, you know, footloose and fancy-free when it comes to romance. It may make you feel a lot more serious than you like to be when it comes to this kind of thing, because you're, as the ruler of the 5th house, you're very playful. You know, Leos are like overgrown kids, even though they're known as natural leaders as well. So you can have that, you know, very warm and positive energy represented by your ruler, the sun, in that 5th house. And maybe that's what it's saying, when the sun is in the 5th house. And that will be when the sun goes into Sagittarius in November. Okay? Maybe that's when love will come in for you. The new moon there, I think the new moon is on November 29th. Okay, so just think about that. That's not too far from now. And that's when maybe things will start to kind of pick up, because you do, as I say, you have this energy of Mars in there, and I'm talking about in September. I don't know when it goes into Capricorn, to be honest with you. I don't have my ephemeris in front of me, but if you're watching this when I have recorded it in early September, you have these two planets in there, Saturn and Mars. Mars is going to be leaving there at some point, you know, in the next month or two, probably a month, and yet Saturn will be there until the end of 2017, and that will be that will make you much more serious about the type of love affairs that you get involved with, and have your eye to the future, something more substantial. What crosses you is the 5 of Pentacles. This is not typically the mentality of a Leo. Leos tend to be very conscious of abundance and not afraid. And this is a card of you having poverty consciousness. Okay? And you may feel like, it's because this is a love reading, I would say too, if there is an earth sign, as I thought there might be, especially in a love triangle, that person may be the problem. If you think that you're going to have a good relationship with that person, I would say it's probably not. It's probably booty call time, because the card that represented the advice was represented by the devil. Now, this could be, the devil is represented by Capricorn. So it could be that a Capricorn person is what's causing you the grief, but it's more of an addictive nature. So I'm thinking it's more of a situation where you feel this sense of attraction to someone who is a Capricorn, or in general, it doesn't have to be a Capricorn, but somebody where it's more of a compulsive relationship. Sometimes the pentacles relate to sex, okay? Because it's anything to do with the material world, including body. The body is part of the pentacles, not just money, but the body. So health, it could be health issues. Maybe health issues are plaguing certain people, and that's preventing you from being with somebody you love. But I think more than that, it could be a compulsive nature. And I feel that Leos are more prone to this. Leos, Aries, and Taurus individuals are more prone to sexual addictions than the average sign. And I cite as Exhibit A 2 words: Mick Jagger. Okay, Leo, Sun in Leo. But anyway, the poverty consciousness also relates to being unwilling to leave a certain situation, because the mindset is there might not be anything better out there. And that type of limited thinking is exactly what this is related to. The attitude to adopt is very appropriately the Three of Wands, the wands relating to the fire sign element, being very forward thinking. 3 is an expansive number. So this is about looking at the vast horizon, not being too myopic in your scope and just seeing the little problems that are happening, but looking at the bigger picture of what you want out of life. And it's another 3. So if there is if the other person is not of the sword element, the air element, but is of the fire element, Aries, fellow Leo, or Sagittarius, it might be saying that's the person that is right for you. But it could just be talking about the qualities of what the fire signs represent, which is positive thinking and positive actions, okay? And expansiveness. The 3 is expansiveness. So if you're dealing with somebody who is negative, who is very petty in their mentality, they're very negative towards other people, they're very materialistic, which is a form of pettiness, I feel. They're very narrow-minded in general. They only like a certain type of people, or they're just very, they're not expansive enough. Then that gives you your answer as well. And you can kind of weed out the people that really are not going to help you to become this, to put you into this place. Because remember that the sun is warming these people. This is the yes card. The sun card is the yes card. And so it's all about, this is a yes-based universe as far as I'm concerned. So anything that you are passionate about, you will find comes easily to you. If you're in a relationship where there's a lot of pain and degradation, and this can be a degrading relationship as well. If it's just a sex thing, it usually will be a degrading relationship as far as I'm concerned, because you're using one another. There's not this feeling of, oh, this person is such a wonderful person. It's really, you're using them at a base level. That is why it's a devil, because it's like a devil, it's a bondage, it's being in bondage. But this is like a very uplifting type of a relationship, and that's what you should be striving for. And this shows you what kind of relationship. But you have to expand your consciousness. You have to get beyond. Sometimes you have to expand it and say, I don't need to be with somebody who is the most gorgeous person. I'm more interested now in their mind, their ethics, the way that they treat other people, the way that they treat themselves. I'm more interested in that now than in somebody who can make me look good by me, going out on the town with them and look how attractive they are. So that must mean that I'm okay. Or look how successful they are. That must mean I'm successful. Instead of generating it within yourself and not using the other person. It's funny. People get used for sex and they get used for their status. And that's not cool either. Now, the outcome is a very kind of receptive, passive energy, the Four of Swords. The swords, I like this because I think you're going to be working with the realm of thought. I think you're going to be really thinking about what you want. And this would be a good time to do it before the sun goes into the 5th house during the time of Sagittarius, because then when you're going to have all those triggers to your 5th house, and come to think of it, as I say, I don't have my ephemeris in front of me, but Venus, I think, will be going into that 5th house ahead of the sun. So that means that you may attract somebody, and Mercury too, you might attract somebody a month, well, not necessarily a month, but maybe a few weeks before the sun actually enters and the new moon is in that house. So it's a good time right now in the early part of the fall in the northern hemisphere, the spring in the southern hemisphere, to really think about what it is that you want and to cultivate those traits by thinking about them first, and then you'll be able to spot them when you're really in the thick of the dating scene. Because I think that you are going to take a little bit of time out. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's because of like a very taxing experience for you. You're going to just take a breather. And so make sure that you kind of really reflect on that relationship. Not on how badly you were treated, but on what you brought to it. What did you bring to that dynamic that contributed to it? So that you can learn from that and hopefully attract what you want. I shouldn't say hopefully. I feel that that's absolutely within your power to do so. So Leo, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like a personal reading, please click on the link in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.